We're gonna cap off our run on Sonic build videos with none other than Dr. Eggman this week. As you can see, we're doing the version from Sonic 1 where he's in his little airship and he is wreaking havoc all over the place. Lots of details on this one. Stick around to the end. Let's get started. So we're gonna start with some black. And we're gonna use a foam ball this week. So you can get this at any craft store. Just gonna chop it in half. We're just going to use the bottom half of that foam ball for the bottom of his ship. His ship is basically like a ball. We're just gonna make a nice gray color. We're gonna use a tiny bit of blue and just a little bit of black goes a long way to making a nice gray. Smash that into a long strip. Make sure it's nice and even and smooth with a nice straight line on one end. That way you can kind of smash it down into a clean edge there. The rest we're just gonna fold over. And you wanna leave a little bit of a lip on top, like I'm doing here, just so that there's a little bit room for him to sit inside the ship. Now with a little bit more black, we're gonna add the front and back detail. Part of it's for that front little headlight dome, and on the back side is just where the engine attaches. Fill the top of the inside of the ship with black here. We want to make sure we can't see any of that styrofoam in the end of the build, so just fill it in with black. All right, back to some white and blue. We're gonna make that headlight color, so it's just kind of like a light blue. And we're gonna smash out a little dome shape here to make a little light. And just a little bit of rolled out gray is gonna serve nicely for a little rim detail around the outside edge. And I'm gonna go the extra mile here and add a little highlight to the edges of this just to give it that glassy look. You know, Dr. Eggman was always one of my favorite characters from a video game back in the day. So I didn't even have a Sega, but it was Genesis versus Super Nintendo. So I never had Sonic as a kid, but you know, Dr. Eggman, or as we called him, Dr. Robotnik, he was always like one of those characters that made me want to play the game. It made me a little jealous of the Genesis because I just thought he was so cute in his little airship like this, so. Now this is a little engine mount. It's just the little base of the engine. We'll make a darker gray for the actual engine itself. Kind of like a cone shape. So just flatten one end of it. And then we're gonna hollow out. This is kind of like pottery almost. Just kind of spin it and form it. And then just press it in nice and firm so it doesn't sag and doesn't fall down. That looks good. All right, now we're moving on to those little wings on the side of the ship. They're kind of funny looking, kind of chunky, and they're not very big. So there's like a fin and then all these little supporting pieces on the top and the bottom. Once I have all those little chunks, I'm gonna build the actual wings themselves. And now that my ship has dried enough, air dough does dry in the air, that's why it's called air dough, also because it's really light, but you know, it does air dry. Sometimes it helps to use water like I just did to make sure everything sticks really well. There we go, just smash it in. We'll add some more detail later. That looks good. Okay, and then I'm just gonna press in some little negative space into those chunks. It just makes it look cool, and it looked a little too like blobby. So just add a little more detail. There we go. Okay, back to the bucket. We're gonna grab some more Airdo, black and yellow. This is for those little strips on the side. Those little, kind of like emergency stripes, hazard stripes. Now, if you carefully smash out enough of these stripes, you can use this technique where you kind of align things at an angle like this. And if you smash it all together and it all sticks, you can now just cut out a nice little strip for each side of the ship. And they're all spaced out and it's really clean looking. There we go. More water to make sure it sticks. And as long as you're careful with your placement, this is gonna look great. There we go. I've just gotta make sure it's all even. Okay, I like it. Now you might notice I keep laying it upside down. This is because I wanna make sure that that top rim of the ship is nice and even and kind of stays flat. I don't want it to look lumpy in the end. So if you let it dry upside down, it's gonna keep it nice and flat. And this is for those little grills on the front. Not sure what they're really supposed to be, but they look like air vents or something. So I'm gonna add those in too, of course. All right, back to the Airdo bucket. We're gonna make a nice dark brown leathery color for his luxurious seat. Just kind of make sure you get the size right so it fits nicely in the back side of the ship there. Can't make it too thick because, you know, part of the charm of this character is, you know, he's Eggman. He's like just giant round egg-shaped man, and he barely fits in this ship. So that's what I love about it. So we're gonna make sure that he has enough room to fit inside here. And we're gonna build a little, since we can't build a clear windshield, it's just kind of like a dash to the ship. So I'm improvising here a little bit, but I think that looks pretty good. Cool. If I leave a little time for it to dry, it helps once I start making Eggman himself now. I'm grabbing the red for his body. Yeah, that looks like a good size. So he's actually pretty simple. Most of the detail in this build was in the ship. But as long as you keep him a nice big size to where there's not too much open space, it's just right. Yeah. Okay, and we're gonna make his cape with some yellow, smash it flat, and cut out those little V shapes to the front. And then for the back, it's kind of like a standard cape. Okay, and now we're gonna make his arms. So, you know, the shoulder's the biggest part. Crease the elbow and just make sure those arms are skinny enough just to squeeze in there. We actually don't need hands for him because they're kind of hidden behind the dash. There we go. Okay, and now we're doing some peach. I'm gonna make it a little bit darker than the standard peach color. Just gotta get his head right. Not too big, not too small, but you want it pretty small. His body is oversized for his proportions. That's just what he is. And his little eyeballs are just blue. Well, they're not really eyeballs. I guess they're like lenses, glasses, sort of. And of course, I gotta add that shine too. It's almost like that anime style to have those slash shine highlights, whatever you want to call them. And of course, you have to do a ridiculous mustache with Dr. Eggman. You just gotta make it oversized and huge. It's crazy. And a giant pink nose, of course, so just get a nice bright pink. And I'm gonna place it right on there, just under his eyes. That looks pretty good, and I think he's finished, guys. He's all done. Vroom vroom. Alright, thanks for watching me make Dr. Eggman, aka Dr. Robotnik this week with Airdo. If you want to build some on your own, you can grab some in the link below in the description. Don't forget to subscribe. Take a look at what we're doing every week. We do these all the time. And if you like it. Give us some suggestions in the comments if you got anything you'd like to see us build. See you next time.